Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Esther. I go to North York, in case you haven't met me before. But I'm just going to kind of read what I have. So I want to start off my testimony by sharing with you a vision that God has shown to me. I want you to imagine yourself in your room filled with all your prized possessions, and imagine how much you love each of the things that you have in your room. And I want you to imagine that you were asked to get rid of everything that was in your room. Do you think you could do it, or would you try really hard to keep one or two things as your very own? Now imagine that you were finally able to empty that room of all your own personal belongings, and it was left completely empty. Next is the best part. I want you to imagine God filling your empty room one by one with the things that are so beautiful and so precious and so perfect until it's overflowing. This is how I see God working in my life. It was only when I was able to let go of all my own possessions that I was able to see God bless my life in ways I never expected. One possession that I have taken out of my own room is my finances and my career. I've been working as a physiotherapist for the past 2.5 years. I studied my master's for 2 years and faced several failures and many doubts throughout my time in school. However, I successfully completed my program and my licensing exam to pursue my career as a physiotherapist. I began working at a well-paying job upon graduation and worked with many influential therapists in my field. After 1.5 years, I began to feel burnt out and dissatisfied with my work and my work environment. I felt like I had worked so hard to end up in a place that didn't seem as great as I imagined it would be. I would go in and out of work just to get my job done and found no purpose in the time I spent at work. God provided for me an opportunity to leave this place for a place where I would take a 20% pay cut. I decided to go to a place with more work and less pay, but God has blessed this change. I now work with people who have had life-altering injuries, including burn victims, amputees, and other serious traumas. When I see their physical and emotional pain, it breaks my heart to know that they may be going through this life without hope and without God in their life. I find fulfillment in my work as God uses me to change lives physically, emotionally, and spiritually. God has been placing more and more opportunities in my workplace to share His love with my coworkers and my clients, and I'm so excited to see how lives can be transformed at my workplace. Another possession I have taken out of my room is my own abilities to serve God. I've attended church my entire life with my family. Before coming to Westside, I would go to church each week. I would go to Bible studies and retreats, and I even served at my own church. On the outside, it would probably seem that I'm doing much of the same things I do now. However, when I was able to give up my own abilities and my own efforts to rely on God's power, that was when I experienced the transformation in my life. I've been attending Westside now for 4.5 years. When I first came to Westside, people probably knew me as the biggest excuse maker. I would tell people that I wasn't ready to commit to anything, that I wasn't good at what they were asking me to do, that I lived too far away and had no ride, that I was too shy, too busy, and too preoccupied with other things in my life. When I was asked to take on any leadership positions at Westside, my automatic response was no. It was after I first decided to step out of my own comforts and become a small group leader that God began to use me and develop me in the areas that I was the weakest. For example, I'm now leading small groups and I'm the director of maturity when I thought that I was never a good leader. I welcomed newcomers and now help newcomers get connected through Sunday small groups when I thought that I was timid and apprehensive with new people. I lead Saturday morning prayer and I'm part of the intercessory prayer team when I thought that my prayers were not eloquent enough or powerful enough. It was only when I did the things that I couldn't do on my own where I saw God working the most. I now see that serving God is more than just going through the actions and doing my duty at church to feel good about myself, but serving God is an honor to me as He uses my life to impact others and to build my own faith and transform my heart. The last possession I was able to take out of my room was in the area of relationships. Last year, God had asked me to give up a relationship that meant a lot to me. I was left wondering why He would take away something that I had wanted and prayed for so long. Out of confusion and doubt, I became desperate to know more about God and His will for my life. It was during this time that I developed a genuine relationship with God that was so personal and so real to me. I had never experienced God in this way before. Every word that I read from the Bible or heard from a sermon felt like God was speaking directly directly to me, and that caused me to spend every moment I had studying the Word, crying out to God, and surrounding myself with opportunities to hear more about Him. It was in these moments of desperation that God had really transformed my heart to desire more of Him and less of the world. My heart's one desire now is to be obedient to God in all areas of my life and to commit my whole life to serving God whenever and wherever He asks me to. I no longer feel anxious about what my future holds, and I no longer worry about my finances, my career, or my relationship. As I look ahead, I'm really excited to be used by God in an extraordinary way. I'm excited to see how God will work and to see all the lives that will be changed. I know that God's supply for my room is endless, and I'm waiting expectantly as He adds more and more to it. I believe that there will always be opportunities for me to give up the things that matter most so that God can bless me in the ways that I can't even understand. When I keep things the way I want them to be and refuse to let go of them, there's no room for God to work. I can't imagine now what my life would be like if I missed out on those opportunities to let God into my room. But I thank God He has given me a new heart with His own prized possessions, and